Hey everybody, it's Lon.TV, and a couple of weeks ago we took a look at the iPad 9.7. This is the lowest cost iPad that's out there. At the time I'm recording this video, it is still selling for $249, a very good deal. And I bought two of those iPads for my daughters, but I only bought one pencil. And of course, now I had to go out and get another pencil for the other kid. Now, my youngest daughter is 3, so I figured, you know what, we might be able to look at a less expensive alternative. So I picked up the Logitech Crayon. This sells for about $60 versus the $90 you'll pay for the official Apple Pencil, but it has Apple Pencil gear inside of it, so it performs largely the same as the Apple Pencil, but it doesn't do the pressure sensitivity. And I thought I would buy one and do a review here for all of you. Now, before we get into this, I do want to let you know, in the interest of full disclosure, that I paid for the pencil here, or the crayon, with my own funds. All the opinions you're about to hear are my own. Nobody is paying for this review, nor has anyone reviewed or approved what you're about to see before it is uploaded. So let's get into it now and see what this crayon is all about. So let's take a closer look now at the hardware. This is modeled after a carpenter's pencil, which is more flat and rectangular than the round and slippery first generation Apple Pencil that works with the two iPads that I got. As a result of this, I think it might work better in a smaller child's hand because there is more to grip onto and it's not as slippery. The centerpiece here is metal. It feels like aluminum. At the top here, you've got a little rubber thing with a cap for the charging spot. And you can just plug in your iPhone or iPad charger into this to charge it up. They say you get about 7.5 hours of drawing time on it, and it doesn't take all that long to charge. But unlike the Apple Pencil, you can't just plug it into your iPad. You do have to go find a Apple Lightning connector and an AC adapter to get it going. They don't give you a charging cable in the box with it, but I think you should be able to easily find a way to charge it up. And what I do like about it, which though might be harder for younger kids, is that there is a power button to turn it on, and it will shut itself off after it's not been used for a while. What I have found with my Apple Pencils over the years is that if you don't use them, they tend to just die because they're always kind of in a standby mode. This one requires you to actually turn it on to use it if you haven't been using it in a while. You just hold the button down for about a second or so, and then the light will turn on here and you can go to town with it. It doesn't require any pairing, although I did find with my iPad Pro that I did have to disconnect my existing pencil for this one to show up. So you may have to do that if you are using an iPad that sometimes uses another pencil. The tips here on the front are replaceable, but get this, the tip alone is $15 for this thing. So you may want to be careful with your kid and the tip of this, because if you break it off or damage it in some way, it is going to cost you a little bit to get it replaced. Now, it does have a good amount of compatibility, in fact, a little bit more compatibility than the regular Apple Pencil does. So in addition to working with the 6th generation iPad that we looked at a couple weeks ago, it also works with the new iPad minis. I believe that is the 5th generation iPad mini. It'll work with the 3rd generation iPad Air. And then, unlike the Generation 1 Apple Pencil, it will work with the new iPad Pros, the 11 and the 12.9. It will not, though, work with prior generation iPad Pros, and we'll be taking a look at this on my iPad Pro here in just a second. Now, earlier we connected it up to my daughter's iPad, one of those $249 versions, and with a case and a screen protector on, it worked just as well as her original Apple Pencil did in her favorite drawing app. It doesn't have the pressure sensitivity, but everything else seemed about the same to her, and she had no issues that she could find drawing with the crayon versus the original Apple Pencil. So that was a good experience for her. Let's take out my iPad Pro now and see how it works on that. All right, so I've got my iPad Pro out here. We're going to turn on the crayon and wait for that light to light up. Now remember, you can use this with the iPad Pro, but only if it's one of the newer models like this one that has the thin bezels on it. So I'm just going to start writing here. I'll select the pen and just go to town, and it seems to be working quite well. The wrist detection here works fine. Again, this has got Apple Pencil guts inside of it, so the behavior is largely the same. Another thing you can do with it is do the angled writing. So right now, if I just draw this marker line here, you can see it's relatively thin. But if I angle the pen here like so, I can make a thicker line, and it's able to detect that based on the orientation of the pen as I'm drawing. So that's very similar to the Apple Pencil. But what this doesn't do is detect the pressure of that stroke. So no matter how hard or soft I push down, it's always going to look the same. Now, if we take out my other Apple Pencil here, I'm not sure if this one's going to come on until I pair it up. You'll notice that we have a little bit more flexibility with the official Apple Pencil in that it can detect that change in pressure. So now that we're paired up here, there we go. I can do a very light line, or I can push down and have it go darker. So I think if you are an artist, you probably want to go with the Apple product because it can detect the pressure. But if you are a kid or somebody who's just taking notes on your iPad Pro, for example, this will cost you half of what the official iPad Pro Generation 2 pencil will cost you. And even on the regular iPad, it's still going to save you 30 or 40 bucks over the original. And I think if you're not in need of that pressure sensitivity, it is otherwise the same thing. So there you go. That is the Crayon from Logitech, and I am pleased with what it can do for the price. And I think it's something that is probably a really good alternative to the regular Apple Pencil if you don't need that pressure sensitivity and you want to save a few bucks, especially if you're on the iPad Pro. Until next time, this is Lon.TV. Thanks for watching.
This channel is brought to you by the Lon.TV supporters, including gold-level supporters, the Four Guys with Quarters podcast, Tom Albrecht, Brian Parker, and Kalyan Kumar. If you want to help the channel, you can by contributing as little as $1 a month. Head over to lon.tv/support to learn more. And don't forget to subscribe. Visit lon.tv/s.